Welcome back, my name's Steve and thank you for joining me on my photography journey today. This week I'm actually in Madrid. I'm here for work, so I'm going to do my best to record a video while I'm here, take lots of pictures while I'm out and about, and then kind of the idea being to report back about how it went, what I've learned, and how being in a strange city with my camera, how it's gone. So let's have a look. So I arrived here today is Monday, and I got here about lunchtime, had to go straight to work, but now back at the hotel, ready to go out for the evening, so I'm going to take my camera with me when we go out for dinner and see what I can take pictures of. So I've been out and about the last couple of days in Madrid. I've taken some pictures of groups of people for work. Taken pictures of buildings and landscapes and things around the city, and I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having my camera out and about with me. I've enjoyed taking pictures of things that I normally wouldn't do. I've used the autofocus from the firmware update a bit more and found out that that does seem to work a little bit better than it did before the firmware update. And what I'm going to do now, so I leave today. I'm here for meetings again all day today. Of course I'll have my camera with me, but what I'll do is once I travel home, edit some of these pictures, put everything together, and then see what we've got. So my setup has been very simple. I've just brought my Nikon Z5, I brought my 24 to 50mm lens because it's the smallest, because it's the lightest, and it offers me that little bit of flexibility. And it's not the fastest lens, it's not the sharpest lens, but it's the best one in terms of space for carry-on luggage. It's in terms of things that I'll take pictures of while I'm here. It's a great lens and I highly recommend it. It's a great one to start with. It's the one that I got with my camera. I do have better lenses now, but this is my go-to for traveling and things like that. One of the challenges that I've had this week is not having my laptop with me. I've got my work one, that's fine for day to day, but what I actually wanted to do was edit some photos, edit some video, but I don't have that with me, so that's something that I need to learn for next time, is to make sure I bring that with me. It also acts as a backup for downloading my cards from my camera, so that if anything did happen then I would have that additional backup. But again, that's something to learn and something that I will remember for next time to try it and improve my workflow when I'm travelling with my camera. Let's just have a look at a few of these pictures that I took while I was in Madrid. There's nothing too exciting, to be honest. They are more just little snaps that I took while I was around. Everything I took was with this Nikon 24 to 50 4 to 6.3, f4 to 6.3, and this is the kit lens that came with the camera when I bought it in the first place, and it's my go-to when I'm traveling. Like I said while I was in Madrid, it's small, it's light, it's convenient, and it just doesn't take up much space. It doesn't take it, I'm not too worried about breaking it or anything like that, so put it in my hand luggage when I go on the plane, that's absolutely fine. I don't want to be carrying my other lenses, which are about £1,000 each. This one cheap and cheerful, but still gets great results. Obviously f4 isn't as good as my f1.8 35mm lens, but this is so much smaller, so much lighter. I've said before about my different lenses, so have a look back at that and see what you think. But I've really enjoyed being out and about and taking these pictures over the last week or so. So let's have a look at some of those pictures now. So first up we have this building. This is actually where we went for dinner one evening, so the restaurant was up on top of here, and it was a really dark evening. It was a bit cold, a bit wet, a bit rainy, so I didn't hang around for too long. But I just liked the shape of this building. I wish I'd managed to move and not get those street lights. But other than that, I think it's quite nice. I can look past that. There was actually a person walking in that frame, but the magic of Lightroom managed to get rid of him as well. And then this is obviously the same building. This is a slightly different position for it and looking up towards the roof. It was up on the roof that we had our meal that evening, and I like the black and white of this. I like the drama of the shadows and the light in the building, and then the dark of the sky up above. This was just while I was out walking around, walking between the hotel and work, and the tree-lined street. I quite like the pattern on the floor and the trees, the clouds in the sky and things. It's just quite a nice simple picture, which just summed up how the area looked to me. So just a snap, but I like it. I like the fact that you've got that nice long path disappearing into the distance there. This next picture of the power lines over the train track. I like the combination of the trees in the background and the power lines, just the contrast between the two. Nothing too exciting, but I wanted to get as much of the light, the overhead cables in as possible, so that's why they're coming diagonally from the top right down towards the bottom left. And I also took a picture of the train, which is the next one up, and this train was actually coming past me, so it came from behind, but I wanted to try and capture some motion blur in there, so I had a slightly slower shutter speed, just to make the train a little bit blurry, and then I emphasised the colours of the greens, the reds in the picture, and the blue of the sky, so that it just made it pop a little bit more. You can see that I like the train line. So this is from a bridge that I had to cross on my way in. So I actually work in an office down there on the left, and this was the way that I crossed to get to the office from the hotel. And I always like train lines. I like being able to see that nice straight line off into the distance, with the clouds in the sky, the trees, the offices. So lots of contrast in there, the straight lines, the nature around it, and then the sky. And for the final picture, this was after going to the restaurant on that evening. This is the roundabout that's just outside it. There's a big fountain on there. And I wanted to capture some blur of the passing cars. However, I didn't have a tripod. I needed a relatively slow shutter speed in order to get enough light into the camera, because it was quite dark, but I couldn't go too slow either because I didn't have my tripod. So this one was at 1/50th of a second, which means that it was kind of at the limit of hand holding it with this 24 to 50mm lens. There's no VR vibration reduction built into the lens, so there's nothing to make it easier to take that picture. But I think it's okay. It doesn't look too bad. It's not completely sharp, and there's not enough of a blur in that car. I don't think. I would have liked to have had a longer shutter speed to make more of a blur of that car and the water in the fountain as well. But overall, I'm quite happy with those pictures. It was just a work trip and me wandering around with my camera in between times. I also took lots of photos of people during the day at work. I can't share those because I don't have people's permission to share their pictures. But I used the IAF with the new firmware update, and it's definitely a bit better than it was on the old firmware. So this is definitely an improvement, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. All that's left to say about that trip was what I could have done better. It would have been nice to have a tripod with me for some of those nighttime shots. A variety of lenses would have been useful, but both extra lenses and a tripod would have meant that I'd have more to carry. I had my GorillaPod, but I didn't actually take that out with me in the evening. I used it more to film the pieces that you saw earlier in the video, and that is about all I used those for. However, I should have taken it out. I think that would have given me much more stability and given me better pictures at night when I was taking pictures of like the cars coming past and things. Other than that, having my laptop with me would have made a big difference, because then I could have edited some of the pictures while I was there, certainly downloaded them onto my laptop so that I didn't have to worry about losing anything. If anything happened to my camera, to my SD cards, I would have had a backup onto my laptop, but I didn't. Luckily nothing happened, but it's always a worry that these things could.
So in future, I'm going to try and take my laptop, potentially a tripod, but we'll see about that. And I think sticking to the one lens, maybe next time I'll take my 24-200 instead and see what that's like. I'm back in Madrid for work at the end of the month, so another couple of weeks. So then I'll be able to compare the way that I do things, and we can see if there's any difference. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It's nice to have a chat with you in the comments, and I will see you again next week on my photography journey. Have a great week. Bye.